All right, friends, it's Team One. We are back with a video on JasonBlaha's training, man. Yes, this is going to be incredible. We're going to react to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear slaves training video. Him training himself, I guess. JasonBlaha's strength and fitness. So, Blaha says, JasonBlaha training squat deadlift. Okay. Yeah, squat and deadlift. Squat and deadlift day, I guess. All right, we're gonna critique and react to this video.
Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here. Once again, it is time for a squat and deadlift day, but a quick reminder for those of you who are watching, please click like down below. If you aren't subscribed or following me yet, please do so. And if you would be so kind as to drop me a comment to say hello or give your thoughts, I would appreciate it. All right, today I decided to work high bar squats again. Because what am I doing? I'm trying to focus on getting bigger again. Like I want to focus on pure lean gain.
He's focused on getting bigger, high squats again. But he lifts concentrically. How can he get bigger? At least if he lifted full range of motion, he could eke out gains there. He could get gains there, but he doesn't know how to. But I would train him eccentrically. I'll explain it in the video, but there are two modalities that you still can eke out gains. You can still eke out gains lifting full range of motion and then just eccentrically. But doing just concentric is not going to do anything for you. Powerlifting is not a modality to build bodies. Only a full range of motion, overworking a muscle in a full range of motion can do that, and eccentric exercises. Those are the only two. And you can always switch between the two. But one is going to take you astronomically much longer, but it's still quite superior to getting gains lifting in a full range of motion. See what I mean? But in eccentric exercise, the exercise modality is a lot shorter. You're going a lot heavier.
Just improved body composition, but I've got to get bigger.
That's a concentric squat. It's not going to get anything out of this. What's the point of doing this? You just wasted your time there. See what I mean? It still would have to be a full range of motion. Therefore, look, this squat right here would still have to be a full range of motion to get something out of it. And you'd have to do a lot of sets.
Everywhere. So I'm trying to maximize recovery, stimulus to fatigue, scale.
Stimulus to fatigue and recovery. Well, you're definitely going to get that because there isn't any damage here. So there's no growth. No damage, no growth.
Back my training a little because I have been overtraining and I need to just focus on progressive overload and I need to make sure every single muscle in my body.
Yes, but if you progressively overload concentrically, you're not going to build any muscle, bro. Get it, man? You're just wasting your time. Look, it's like the rest of the people lifting in gyms, broski. For an example, AI overview. Yes, that's generally true when muscles adapt to concentric lifting. They can adjust by reducing the number of sarcomeres in series within the muscle fibers. This adaptation allows the muscle to function more efficiently at shorter lengths, thus and with less overall muscle mass. Get it? You understand me? Listen to what it says. He says he's trying to get bigger. He's lifting to get bigger. And they're telling you that the function of this concentric lifting, what he does, for it to be more efficient, it adapts by doing what? At shorter lengths and with less overall muscle mass for a given level of force. See what I mean? Less muscle mass. So if you get a stronger concentrically, are you going to get a bigger? No, you're not going to get a bigger. If anything, you're going to have a reduction in mass. You understand me? You're going to get smaller. And so Blaha says he's lifting for mass. Well, if he's lifting for mass, he's getting smaller. Do you understand me? That's why he's got to take a steroid to pretend he looks a bigger. He got to pretend he looks a bigger because concentric lifting is associated with getting a smaller. You get it, man? See? Here is a more detailed explanation. Sarcomeres. Sarcomeres are the basic contractile units of muscle, and they are arranged in series within muscle fibers. They are arranged in series within a muscle fiber. Concentric lifting for contraction involves the muscle shortening while generating force like during a bicep curl. Okay, whatever. Adaptation. When a muscle is chronically subjected to concentric contractions, it can adapt to functioning more efficiently at shorter lengths. Yeah, it adapts by functioning better at shorter lengths. You understand me, man? Loss of sarcomere in series. One way the muscle adapts is by removing sarcomere in series within its muscle fibers. This means the overall length of the muscle fiber decreases. That's a bad thing. You become weak in the eccentric. That's why it's still good to lift full range of motion, but it's an overworking of that muscle. That is a superior modality for strength and size. You understand me? But if you're just lifting one way, if you're trying to carry over powerlifting to bodybuilding, lifting concentrically, this is what happens. You get it? This means the overall length of the muscle fiber decreases and it becomes more compact. So you're getting smaller. I got the stronger, but I got the smaller. So all the people that told you out there that if you get a stronger in the power lift, you're going to get a bigger if you get a stronger. But they didn't tell you that if you get a stronger eccentrically, you're going to get a bigger. Get it, dude? Efficiency. By reducing the number of sarcomere in series, the muscle can generate the same amount of force while shortening at a short length, making it more efficient and requiring what? Less mass. That's what he's doing there. Longer muscle lengths. Conversely, eccentric exercise where the muscle lengthens while generating force is known to increase the number of sarcomere in series and also in parallel because it has to, leading to a longer muscle fascicles and shift in the optimal length tension relationship. So if you're looking for mass and size, you definitely want to lift eccentrically. It just doesn't make sense what Blaha's doing here, broski. Get it? You get it, dude, ski? Yeah, man. All right, let's...
He gets at least 6 direct sets every week. Obviously, there's a ton of spillover. Ton of spillover because there's a lot of compounds, but I'm only counting them towards one muscle in that. So again, the squats and deadlifts, I'm not even fully counting.
And he doesn't even do enough repetition work. He does like 3 reps, man. This is powerlifting, bro. This is not bodybuilding. You understand me? Bodybuilding is about repetition work to cause that muscle to damage. It requires an amount of repetitions to cause the fiber to cause it to actually, you have to have a stimulus to cause it to damage. It has to have something there for it to damage. But if you're just doing 3 reps pretending, like Blaha, pretending I'm building mass, I'm pretending to build mass, I'm pretending. Then he goes in the back room and he injects his testosterone shots or whatever. He says he's taking steroids.
But I'm like, let's work high bar squats. That was hard, by the way. I'm like, let's get in, let's do 405 and try to sink it all the way to hamstrings to heels for me. So for those curious, like I'm literally bottoming out in those sleeves. That's as deep as I can go.
Again, he's lifting like a power lifter, concentrically, and just dropping the weight. You understand me? This doesn't make sense. And there's not enough reps here.
My calves and hamstrings are kind of big. So for me, that's pretty much just sinking it. But 5 reps was pretty hard. Like I did 7.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with deadlifting. But you need to lift the weight and lower the weight for repetition work.
With like a power squat the other day.
Come on, man. What was that? 2 reps? You got to be joking me. What's that going to do? Nothing.
But once I threw those squat shoes on, I'm forcing myself to get more knee slide, all that stuff, use the quads more. It was hard. But
you see, Blaha lifts to adapt by making sure that muscle does not grow and stays compact and stays very small, and there's a reduction in mass. So him telling you I'm building mass, but he's lifting concentrically. You understand me? It's all the opposite of what he's saying. I'm building mass. How could you build mass if you're shortening something and getting it to adapt by not building mass and preventing mass from building? You're preventing it by not even lifting full range of motion in the eccentric. There's not even any eccentric here. Full range of motion. He lifts like a power lifter. Do they do this? Look, do they do this exercise in powerlifting? What he's doing here? Look.
I want to build the quads up, so it's good. The other thing I know that
You hear what he said? I want to build the quads up. Look, he lifts concentric, bro. Isometric, concentric. There's no eccentric. There's not even a full range of motion. My God.
my deadlifting, I'm feeling things like just my forearms and stuff are really fatigued. Low back has been a little fatigued.
You see that? You pump it, you shorten it, you go down isometrically, you forego the eccentric, and then you pump it to make sure that it stays compact and short. It definitely will increase force in the opposite direction, but you'll always be weak in the eccentric because you didn't grow any muscle, bro, to strengthen you eccentrically. So you'll be weak. You won't be good in sports. You'll be slow. It's just bad, all around bad.
So I need to scale what I'm doing a little better. So the same thing, I'm going to quit trying to do even 12 sets for my lats. Look, we can just do pull-ups. I'm going to leave the rows alone, and I feel like that will be better on the forearm recovery. So those are harder, though, by the way. Some people are like, man, you were doing more than...
Like I said, this is a great machine. The exercise, great, got nothing against it. I think for those people that want to lift full range of motion and they don't want to lift eccentrically, that's fine. But it's an overworking of that full range of motion because you have to rely on the eccentric to cause that damage. So you're going to have to lift, I'd say you're going to have to lift 90% of your max. You understand me? For repetition work. If you lift 90% of your max and you share it along the eccentric and concentric, that lift, you can eke out gains. You understand me? So, yeah, but you're going to have to do a lot more that is required than what you would just do eccentrically with a full load.
Not long ago, that was with a deadlift bar. So I'm like, let's just do the stiff bar for a bit. And I want to just build up with 500. I want to get that stiff bar to where I can do 500 for 10. Right?
He wants to build it up 500 for 10 concentrically. Good luck, okay?
I feel like that's a worthy goal. I've done 10, with a power bar. I'm sorry, with a deadlift bar with thicker plates. So people are like, oh man, that was really good. You got 11 reps. But dude, guys, I was using those training plates. They're wider. It was on a deadlift bar. It's way easier. Way easier. All right, that power bar has zero whip. I'm using steel plates, zero flex, zero whip.
Okay.
I'm going to build that up.
Yeah.
Right, I want to build that back up, but I also feel like my forearms have
Yeah, he's going to build that up, yes.
to recover. They have to recover, so
Yes, forearms have to recover from shortening them, from getting them to become smaller and not growing, yes.
need to have a reasonable amount of grip work, but I've also got to avoid beating them up, and I feel like stuff like the rows and things are doing it to some extent. I've got to focus on recovery everywhere. Right, I need to focus on recovery everywhere. And I do feel like doing all the rows with the pull-ups and then those power curls and stuff kind of push certain parts of my arm recovery a little far. But yeah, I want to get that stiff bar up to 10. I feel like if I get all the recovery on point, just enough grip work to keep getting stronger there will be good. Belt squats, we obviously did 290 there. I got 7, 7, and 8. Really happy with that. So slowly progressing on those while focused on getting deeper. Glute ham raises, I managed to get 10, 10, 8. I'll just call it 3 by 10 with a 10-pound plate. Yes, I did.
Do you understand that there is a massive market out there for eccentric machines? There are no machines that are built just for eccentric exercises. Could you imagine if somebody tapped into that market? They would make millions, billions, because that's what causes growth. Eccentric exercises. If they could tap into that market and create machines that were just made for eccentric exercises, wow, that's just incredible, bro. That's just crazy. I'm not saying that the machine can't be used for a full range of motion, but it should be geared up in such a way where it can be made so you can do eccentric exercises with it. See what I mean? Even in rehabilitation, they do not have these kind of machines. They do. They have certain machines that you sit in it. It can do some eccentric work, but it's just like one machine. They don't have a variety of them. They do them in these labs. They're special.
Angle, I don't care. Yes, I'm going to catch flack for my loose skin showing today.
There is some bench press machines I've seen, and I think shoulder presses. There are these shoulder press machines where you press a pedal and it goes back up again. And just like the bench press, there's a pedal. You can press it and then it'll come forward. So yeah, for eccentrics. But I've never seen any other machines that could do like eccentrics other than those two, as far as I know.
I just don't care. You know what? It's free engagements. It just doesn't matter anymore because we've seen it tighten up when I drop water. It's fine. So let's get over to the training. So direct hamstring. So what are we doing here? If we don't count the squats or deadlifts, we get 3 direct sets with some progressive overload there for the quads and adductors with the belt squats. And then the glute ham raises are exercise that works all the heads of the hamstring. So it's overall a great exercise. And neither of them put any stress or fatigue on the back. So that's the main thing. It gives me wiggle room on that to do stuff like calf raises and things. Because that is something that does accumulate also. You know, if I'm doing, a bunch of standing rows, if I'm doing heavy good mornings with the squats, deadlifts. So again, looking at where we can get away with the axial fatigue or not, right? And just get it all done. Focus on recovery.
Look at this. Man. These are Nordics. And he doesn't do them. He doesn't do them to their full extent. This is concentric. Try to keep them short. Look at that.
Absolutely need to just focus on the recovery. But here, again, doing these in the way to where I feel the most.
He hits the isometric and he goes back, trying to keep them as small as possible. All of his exercises are pure concentric, and that's not associated with any mass or growth. Zero.
Hamstring. I never really care about this. People don't always like the way I perform these, and that's okay. Doesn't matter.
This guy is a coach, and he coached people on the 5x5 program. He told them to lift. He said, if you lift like a power lifter 5x5, that you guys are gonna get big and strong. Go to those channels. They're all gone. They're all dead. They stopped lifting. Want to know why? Because they failed. It failed them. And it got them even smaller and weaker than what than they started out with. Remember, you're talking about skinny guys that want to get big and strong. They don't want to stay skinny and weak, lifting a heavy weight forever. So if you go to 5x5, Ice Cream Fitness, 5x5, to those channels, remember when Blaha brought them out like years ago, that crazy program stuff, when he was kind of like crazy and popular at the time. Look at all those channels. Go there, 5x5 Ice Cream Fitness. All the channels, they stopped posting. They're dead. They're gone. They stopped posting. Want to know why? Because it failed, just like Blaha here. Pure failure, repetitiously, over and over and over again. It's even worse in a natural lifter. Doing this in a natural person lifting is just failure. But Blaha, he's injecting testosterone and shit and whatever in his body. And he's just increasing the sarcoplasm. That's what makes him look so puffy. He looks kind of puffy-ishy, but he's not big. He's not carrying any muscle on him. This is just bullshit training.
I have big hamstrings. I have strong hamstrings. And I feel it like...
He doesn't have strong hamstrings because if he did, then he'd be able to do it for the full eccentric. Eccentric means that you are strong. If you go with gravity, you go eccentrically, that is real strength. Eccentric means you are very strong. But if you forego the eccentric and you're just doing concentric, that just means you're good at moving things. It makes you efficient and adapted to moving things concentrically, but you will always be weak eccentrically. You get it, man? Your athletic abilities will be shit To produce kinetic energy will be shit. Garbage. To run fast, garbage.
The hamstrings up, right? They get worked really hard, and
sure.
that's what matters.
That's
So
all
at the
that
end of the day,
matters.
that's what we're doing.
That's all that matters. Work them really hard to shorten them. Okay.
So what I did today, I made this really just an entirely lower body day, unless we count, the deadlift and squat towards upper body, the hanging on.
Let's go forward.
Hard on the weighted pull-ups. If I do that every week, my back will keep growing. Plus, I have deadlifts in here twice a week.
Your back is not going to keep growing. It's never growing. He's never growing. He's suffering from sarcopenia. Look at him. He's never growing.
Top set. It's all going to grow. All right, so
No,
calves,
it's
I'm going
not.
to start doing calves again.
Just because you say something's going to grow doesn't mean it's going to grow. Why do you have to say it's going to grow? Then it would be growing. When is it going to grow? In 100 years? It's already been 20 years, 30-something years. When's it going to grow, Blaha? When?
Because just bigger calves burn more calories, burn more energy, speed up your metabolic.
Do you know how hard it is? You don't want to speed up your metabolic rate, Drew, dude. It's associated with accelerated aging. You're going to age and die young. What an idiot. Look at these calves. They're concentric. There's not even a full range of motion eccentrically, bro. Come on, man. Come on, dude. You people have to be blind. The 5x5 ice cream program. Give me a break.
Great. And rather than doing the other thing, I'm like, let's just throw the work boots on. So it's
Look
easier.
at him. He's ass cheek squeezing his muscles. Bro, this is funny. So that they can shrink and stay small.
My feet, and let's stand on a plate and make them nice and challenging.
Look at his calves. They're inferior. Look how small they are. They're getting smaller all the time doing this lifting. He took powerlifting, brought it to bodybuilding, so now he can isolate the muscles to make sure that they shrink and get even smaller. Wow, that's intelligent. Okay.
So 315 was challenging here. Obviously, I want to progress on that. The 3 sets of 10 was pretty hard going up onto the plate.
Is he still doing the 5x5 in here? I think it's the 5x5. Jesus.
So again, I'm happy with that. Of course, here's how the legs
Oh my
are
God,
looking.
I love this. This guy is really ridiculous. What a homer. This guy's such a boomer. Look at him.
That's where my quads and everything
homie.
are. Right, so once I flex them, the legs look decently lean. So again,
Once I flex, they look decently lean. I'm not saying you're not getting lean. I'm saying you are lifting to shorten your muscles so they stay small, bro. So they're efficient at doing these concentric lifts. Oh my God.
quad development, leg development on point. And I know I don't seem to get a lot from ever doing calf training.
Brother.
My calves are always going to be big and ripped no matter what I do. But comes a point where I go,
My calves are, no matter what I do, they're going to be ripped and big. They're not big, bro. They're small.
extra calf work, as long as I'm recovering from it? Beneficial, yeah. Will it help my squats and stuff? Yeah. Especially when I'm messing around with the high bar stuff, because bigger calves, bigger hamstrings just give you more pop out of the bottom. Probably raise my max later.
What's with these poses? What's the matter with you?
So again, just doing them plus the metabolic rate, the energy turnover. If I want to gain as much muscle as
The
possible.
metabolic rate, the turnover, metabolic rate, high metabolic rate is associated with shortgevity. You die young.
Well, let's gain muscle everywhere. Why not gain a little bit of calf muscle if we
Yeah,
are
let's
capable?
gain muscle everywhere. Why not gain a little bit of calf muscle? But guess what? It only gains in the eccentric, bro. Get it? Christ.
Doing so, right? Potentially beneficial, potentially.
Look, it can only gain either in a full range of motion, all right, or eccentrically. So full range of motion, eccentric, concentric, or eccentrically. It cannot gain muscle concentrically at all whatsoever, and it adapts by shortening it. There's a loss of sarcomere in series, bro. Get it? These series are very important. You can't have series. You can't get, look, man, you can't build series without building a parallel. You understand me? You can't have parallel without building series. You have to build series to build parallel. It's like that, and only the eccentric does that. People, hello, people. You can't build parallel without building series. Fuck, man.
beneficial. So again, might as well just train it. And that way all the muscles get worked.
Yeah, that's
All
it.
the muscles get worked.
Yeah, they all get work. Yeah.
Then I feel like at this point, my forearms are getting so much from all the pulling, the hanging, everything. I need to be careful with not overtraining my grip and forearms at this point.
Yes, you don't want to overtrain in the concentric. Yes, because God forbid if he built a muscle, right? You know what I mean? If he got some DOMs and built some muscle, got some muscle damage, God forbid. Is he pointing with his finger? Look at him. Wow, this guy is really narcissistic. He's crazy. It's insane.
So again,
Yes, it's small.
happy with the leg
Yes, they're small. Yes, Blaha.
development at least. I feel like my legs have gotten bigger again now that I've started really pushing squats again, doing the belt squats deep. And then we finish up with reverse hypers. This first set, I forgot to not swing a little bit, so I ended up getting 12 reps and stopping. What I'm trying to do with these is gone up a little heavier, and I'm trying to pull it from a dead stop at the start and then try to control the negative. And the reason for that, you can't fully control it. You're never going to come to a dead stop. I've had people say, why don't you just come to a dead stop each rep? It will take you 30 seconds between reps, because notice the thing keeps swinging. So because it's on roller bearings, you can't. So even if you tried to stop for 3 or 4 seconds at the bottom of every rep,
Okay.
it won't stop moving. And that's one of the benefits. That forward swing is what gives you the benefits of this device. But I'm like, if I want to really strengthen the low back and not just prehab it, I do need it to be heavier. I do need a little more loading.
Yeah, okay.
And get the reps down to a more appreciable range, 10, 12, stuff like that. And I've noticed that I do feel more actual contraction, not just that pump and that.
Like, this isn't that bad. Yeah, he wants the pump. Well, this is not that bad, this machine here. Because really it's gonna force you somewhat doing eccentric exercises here. But he just doesn't put a lot of effort into it.
That restorative effect we get from the really high reps where we swing it, I do feel it is more direct work there. And so then I'm counting this as direct work for my low back. So when I talk about all the sets,
Yeah, okay,
right, that's what we mean. This gives me 3 direct sets for low back. The glute hammerings is 3 direct sets for hamstrings, so on and so forth. And that's the general idea. And then, of course, we finish up with 1 set of hanging leg raises of just
Yes, that's the idea.
10 reps and called it a week. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals.
What a waste. This too. The way he's crunching his abs, that prevents the abs from popping. He prevents them from growing. He keeps them small. Look at his arms. Look at his body. Look at his body. Look at it. Does it look like it grew any muscles? Never. He's afraid of building muscles. That's the whole point. I think he does this on purpose to make people fail out there. He wants people to fail like him. He's a failure. Maybe that's the whole thing. He wants people to fail in their endeavors. Keep them small and weak. This is ridiculous.
Next time.
Yeah, see you next time. What a waste of time, man. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Really helps. But, people don't want to support or help because they like failure like this, these channels like Blaha. See you in the next one, man.